All right, guys, we are going to do a quick video on reflections and distance on a coordinate plane. So we've talked about reflections, so let's just do one together. You need to get out a piece of paper so that you can take down some notes. We're going to do this one together. Let's just review really quick. If I wanted to reflect this shape over the x-axis, I want to know what would be the new reflected point. So I want to know what the reflected point of N would be, M, Q, and P, okay, the reflected coordinates. All right, so the first thing I got to do is I got to make sure I know which axis I'm reflecting over. So I'm reflecting over the x-axis, which is my horizontal one. So that means I'm going to be going down here, okay? So I'm going to be going down to this one. I'm reflecting over the x-axis. So let's first look at N. All right, so if I were going to do N, first of all, I wouldn't go over at all. I would just stay at 0 and I would go up 3. So instead of going up 3, I would go down 3. So this is my N point. So this would be negative. I'm going to come over here. Hold on one second. I'm going to make this smaller. So this would be 0, comma, and then negative 3. Okay. All right, let's look at M. So to get to M, I would go over 2, up 1. So I would still going to go over 2, but I'm going to go down 1. So there's my M. So I would go still over 1, so positive 1, and down 1. Sorry, that would be over 2, down 1, so negative 1. Okay. For Q, I would go over 4, up 1. So for its reflected point, I'd still go over 4, but I would go down 1. Okay, so that's Q. So over 4, down 1, so that's negative. And then P, I went over 5, up 2, so I'm going to go over 5, down 2. Down 2. Oh, these are all messed up, kids. Why didn't you tell me? Here's my ones right here. Sorry. It's kind of hard to see that. So that's M and that's Q. Did anyone catch that? So P is down 2, 1, 2 here. All right, so there's my Q point. So that was over 5, down 2, negative 2. Okay? All right, so you do this one. I want you to reflect this shape over the y-axis, okay? So I want to know what the coordinates of the reflected point of A, B, C, and D are, okay? So pause the video and come back when you have your answer. All right, check your answers. All right, so remember we're in quadrant 2 here. So remember in quadrant 2, you're going to have a negative x and a positive y. So all of them should be a negative and a positive, okay? All right, so that was a quick review on reflection. So now let's look at finding the distance on a coordinate plane. Not really hard. We're just looking at the distance between. All right, so if I wanted to find the distance between these two coordinates, all I'm simply going to do is count. All right, so when I count, you've got to make sure that you know that you're going to start here. You do not count here. It's kind of like hours on a clock. If you're counting from 1 to 3, you don't start 1, 2, 3. You go from 1 to 2. So I'm going to go, there's 1, 2, 3, that's 4 spaces between, okay? If I were going to go from B, I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 spaces, okay? I can also kind of look at it here like if I were on like even a temperature thing. If I'm at 3, positive 3, and I go all the way down to negative 2, okay? So from 3 to 0 would be 3 spots, and from 0 to 2 would be 2 spots. So altogether, that's 5, okay? If here I'm going from negative 5 to negative 1, that would be 4 spots, okay? All right? All right. Kind of the same one. So on this one, I put my coordinates here. So do you notice over here on the coordinates, what do you notice about the coordinates here? If these are my coordinates of D and these are my coordinates of C, what do you notice here? Do you notice that the y coordinates are the exact same? Okay. The y coordinates are the same, and all I was looking for is the difference between that x coordinate there. Okay, that's going to be important in just a second. All right, so will you, oops, on this one, will you please find the distance between C and D, find the distance between A and B, and find the distance between C and B. All right, I'll move this down so you can see a little bit better, maybe. There we go. All right, so find the distance between those, pause the video, and come back when you have your answers. No, seriously, pause and do your answers first. All right, check your answers. All right, we'll just say units. We'll say they're 3 units apart from each other. Okay, so check those answers. All right, let me know if you have questions counting them on the coordinate plane. Okay. All right, but we might not always have the coordinate plane. We might not always have that. We might just have the points, the ordered pairs. So that's an easy way too, because you don't want to always have to graph them. That's kind of annoying. So, but if you have the ordered pairs, you can still find the distance between them. This is kind of easy. If you look at this, if I have one ordered pair is 1/6, the other one is 1/8. First thing you want to look at is which one is the same. Do you notice that my x values are the exact same? If they're the same, I'm not going to look at them. Okay, so now I want to decide what's the distance between 6 and 8. Well, that's just 2 units. Okay. All right, let's look at this one. All right, so do you notice that my y values are the same, -3 and -3? So I'm not going to look at those. I'm only going to look at my x value. Now be careful here because you notice there's one positive and one negative. Okay, so you kind of have to picture it on a number line. If I were at -2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this is +5. I want to know the distance between them. So from here to here would be 5, and from here to here would be 2. So altogether, they would be 7 units apart. Okay. You got to be careful when you have one positive and one negative number. You really have to kind of think about it on a number line. Okay. All right, let's look at this one again. All right, so my x values are the same, so I'm not going to look at those at all. I'm only going to look at my y values. So I'm going to go from -6 all the way up to +3. So -6, -6, all the way up to +3. So if there's my 0, from here to here would be 6 units. From here to here would be 3 units. So altogether, that would be 9 units. Okay. Let's do one more. Oops, I got a lot of things open there. All right, one more. If I'm going to look at these, my y value is the same, so I'm not going to look at them. So I'm only going to look at my x values. You notice they are both negatives. So if they're both negatives, I'm just going to find the difference between them. So what's the distance between a -3 to -7? That's just going to be, if you need a number line, you can do it. This is -7. This is -3. So from 7 to 3, that would be 4 units. Okay. If they're both positive or they're both negative, then you're just going to subtract them like normal. No big deal. You want to find the difference between them. But if one is positive and one is negative, that's when you really have to think about it on a number line. Okay. All right. Will you please do these 4? Oh, are these the same? Whoa, they're the same. All right. You do these 2 by yourself. Okay. Pause the video and come back when you have your answer. All right, there are your answers. Okay. Again, even if I have a positive and a negative one, my answer will never be negative here. I cannot have a negative distance. Okay. All right. All right. All right. So you have an exit slip. You have an exit slip. I'm going to move this down so you can see it a little bit better. All right. There's your exit slip. Okay. I'm going to be checking your answers. So you can just number your paper 1 through 5 and then 6 and 7. Let me see when you have your answers. All right. If you have any questions, let me know. Have a great day.